Ever watched a moment where everything just shifts? Where the person you've been dismissing, underestimating, or even insulting suddenly becomes the only one who can save the day? It happens more often than you might realize. A quiet voice, a critical policy line, a witness hitting record at precisely the right time, a manager who actually bothers to read the rules. These aren't grand dramatic acts. They are small, intentional choices, and they possess the power to flip an entire outcome. They can make a noisy room fall silent, make a CEO's badge gleam in a new, utterly unexpected light, or even bring a multi-million-dollar contract to a decisive halt. Want to know how a single calm sentence can stop a room cold? How one unexpected skill can turn what seemed like a dismissal into a definitive deal? This isn't about simply shouting louder. It's about leveraging profound competence, absolute clarity, and an inner calm courage. It's about truly understanding that dignity isn't something someone grants to you. It's something you steadfastly hold, something you powerfully reveal. Think about it. We've all been there, haven't we? You walk into a situation, ready to contribute, ready to genuinely shine. Perhaps it's a significant meeting, an important pitch, a high-stakes negotiation. You're thoroughly prepared. You've diligently put in the hours. But then it happens. The dismissive glance, the subtle microaggression disguised as a casual, offhand comment, the underlying assumption based purely on how you look, where you're from, or what they think they know about you. You feel that familiar tightness in your chest, that sudden surge of indignation. You immediately want to correct them, to push back vehemently. And sometimes we do. We argue, we painstakingly explain, we become visibly frustrated, and far too often we leave feeling unheard, unseen, and still burdened by that heavy weight of injustice. I've witnessed this scenario play out hundreds of times. A brilliant mind, fully prepared to close a deal, solve a complex problem, or innovate, gets unfairly sidelined by prejudice. They might attempt to force their point, growing louder, becoming more emotional, only to be predictably labeled aggressive or overly sensitive. This is a profoundly common mistake. It invariably feeds the narrative of the person wielding the bias. It provides them with an easy out, a convenient excuse to invalidate your experience. It places the burden of proof, and frequently the blame, squarely on you, while simultaneously draining your precious energy and dimming your inherent light. But what if you didn't have to shout at all? What if your sheer competence itself became the undeniable proof? What if the very bias that attempted to sideline you became the precise reason they ultimately lost? Let me share a story about a pivotal meeting. A major international acquisition was underway. Billions were literally on the table. Our client, AEQ's leading tech giant, was negotiating with the formidable European conglomerate. The deal was extraordinarily complex, involving intricate legal frameworks and delicate cultural sensitivities. My colleague, a truly brilliant strategy consultant named Anya, was an integral part of our team. She was exceptionally sharp, deeply analytical, and possessed an uncanny ability to simplify even the most complex issues. She also happened to be of South Asian descent and dressed in a way that was both impeccably professional and beautifully reflective of her cultural heritage, often wearing vibrant, exquisitely tailored saris. We were immersed in the final, most intense round of negotiations. Tensions were understandably high. The lead negotiator from the European side, a Mr. Schmidt, was notoriously tough and, as we quickly observed, openly dismissive of anyone he perceived as other. During one particularly crucial session, where we were meticulously ironing out intricate IP rights, Mr. Schmidt continuously cut Anya off, deliberately deferring to the male team members, even when Anya was the one directly presenting the vital data. He'd make subtly condescending comments like, "Perhaps our young friend here would prefer to focus solely on the presentation slides rather than delving into the nuances of the market. The condescension was thinly veiled, almost transparent. He even went so far as to refer to her insightful suggestions as colorful, a word choice that undeniably stung, especially given her vibrant attire. The room grew noticeably uncomfortable. Our own team felt the palpable shift, the blatant slight, the undeniable disrespect. Anya, calm as ever, continued to present, her voice perfectly steady, but you could almost feel the undercurrent of his disdain permeate the air. The absolute core of the problem revolved around a specific clause in the acquisition agreement related to software patents, a clause absolutely critical for the future of both companies. The European team was adamantly insisting on a particular wording, confidently claiming it was standard practice in their jurisdiction and therefore entirely non-negotiable. Our legal team was desperately struggling to bridge the widening gap. The English translation simply wasn't capturing the full nuanced legal implication, thereby creating a huge unacceptable risk for our client. Mr. Schmidt was being particularly obstinate, repeatedly stating, "It's a simple matter of translation, or perhaps a lack of comprehension. We've been entirely clear." He even went so far as to imply that our team's grasp of international law was, regrettably, lacking. Anya had been listening with profound intensity, her eyes steady, her posture tall and poised. She'd occasionally glance down at her phone, not out of distraction, but as if meticulously referencing something crucial. Our lead counsel was, reluctantly, preparing to concede a minor point, just to desperately keep the deal alive, seeing no other viable way to break the debilitating deadlock on this specific contentious clause. Then Anya spoke. Her voice was low, remarkably clear and perfectly modulated, cutting through the tension. "Excuse me, Mr. Schmidt," she began, with unwavering composure. "If I may, there seems to be a slight, yet critical, misinterpretation in the translation of Clause 47.2. The English rendition currently uses exclusive license, but the original German phrasing, ausschließliches Nutzungsrecht, actually carries a profoundly specific weight in German commercial code, particularly regarding geistiges Eigentum, as precisely defined in Part 31 of the Urheberrechtsgesetz. This clearly differentiates between exclusive rights of use and a full exclusive license for all forms of exploitation. The latter, which your team is unequivocally pushing for, would effectively transfer ownership far beyond what Article 5 of the contract explicitly defines for collaboration models. This, Mr. Schmidt, is a highly significant distinction." The room went absolutely chillingly silent. The German delegation, who had been relaxed, almost smug, and utterly confident just moments before, suddenly stiffened visibly. Mr. Schmidt's face, which had been set in a sneer of arrogant certainty, went completely slack with shock. Anya had just recited in fluent, impeccable, and perfectly accented German the precise legal nuance that had been holding up the multi-billion-dollar deal. She didn't just understand the legal point, she had utterly mastered it, down to the specific legal code and its intricate implications, delivered flawlessly in their own language. The sentence that stops the room. That's precisely what it felt like. Anya wasn't merely translating words, she was expertly translating complex legal intent, deep cultural context, and the fundamental disagreement at hand, all with an inherent authority that left absolutely no room for doubt or further argument. She paused for a beat, then calmly continued in English. To elegantly avoid this ambiguity, and to steadfastly protect the true spirit of the original clause, might I respectfully suggest we phrase it as Exclusive Nutzungsrechte im Sinne des Paragraph 3 ORHG für die spezifizierten Anwendungsbereiche, thereby explicitly clarifying the scope, without inadvertently transferring full exploitation rights beyond the defined collaborative framework. The lead counsel for the German side, an older woman who had appeared visibly uncomfortable with Mr. Schmidt's earlier boorish behavior, nodded slowly, a clear flicker of surprise and profound respect now evident in her eyes. She turned directly to Mr. Schmidt and in rapid, decisive German seemed to gently but very firmly correct him, directly citing Anya's irrefutable point. Mr. Schmidt, caught completely and utterly off guard, could only manage a flustered, almost garbled, "Ah, yes, of course," a very astute observation. His ego had just been spectacularly, publicly checkmated. The bias that costs 1B Bliles, or, in this utterly critical case, nearly jeopardized a multi-billion-dollar deal. His dismissiveness, his prejudiced assumption about Anya's capabilities based solely on her appearance, had almost cost his own company an unfathomable amount. This truly was the day the competence shone. Anya didn't need to shout. She didn't need to argue aggressively. Her sheer expertise, delivered with unshakable calm authority and impeccable timing, was the absolute proof that ends the excuse. It was, without question, the unbest justice tool, and it had no shouting. The very prejudice that sought so intently to diminish her ultimately served to profoundly elevate her. Our client's lead negotiator, who had keenly observed the entire tense exchange, gave Anya a quiet nod of profound appreciation and understanding. The deal proceeded smoothly thereafter, with the contentious clause rephrased precisely and expertly as Anya had suggested. Mr. Schmidt was visibly chastened, his entire tone towards Anya shifting dramatically from dismissive to openly deferential for the remainder of the prolonged negotiations. So, how do you meticulously get ready for your own Anya moment? How do you strategically prepare to flip the script entirely, to masterfully turn dismissal into unshakable dignity, invisibility into indispensable competence? It's absolutely not about finding a magical, one-time bullet. It's fundamentally about preparation, about presence, and about understanding policy. It's about adopting a simple, yet profoundly repeatable, 10-minute mini-ritual I affectionately call justice prep. When you anticipate a potentially charged or difficult interaction, or even just before an important meeting where you know you might unfortunately face biased assumptions, dedicate a focused 10 minutes. Find a quiet, undisturbed spot. 1. Centered breath. Close your eyes or gently soften your gaze. Take 3 slow, deep, deliberate breaths. Inhale deeply through your nose. Hold for a deliberate count of 4. Then exhale slowly and completely through your mouth for a count of 6. This intentional act calms your nervous system, clears your mind of extraneous thoughts, and grounds you firmly in the present moment. It brings you back directly to your core strength. Feel your feet solidly on the ground beneath you. 2. Posture and presence. Consciously adjust your posture. Sit or stand tall and upright, shoulders relaxed, chin level. This isn't about projecting aggression. It's about confidently claiming your rightful space, embodying your own inherent worth. Your voice will naturally deepen slightly and gain resonance when you are truly centered. Practice speaking your key point or phrase in a low, steady, unwavering voice. Not loud or boisterous, but firm and assured. Your eyes should be steady, making direct eye contact when appropriate, holding your gaze without challenging or provoking, simply being present and aware. 3. Policy and language. Prep. Open your phone. Have a ready screenshot of the relevant policy, rule, or contract clause saved to your favorites. Or, mirroring Anya's brilliant move, have the crucial terminology in the original language, meticulously ready to cite. Prepare a neutral, open-ended phrase. Something impactful yet calm, like, I'd like a supervisor and a copy of the policy you're referencing. Or, could you clarify which specific part of the contract you are referring to? Or, my understanding of the regulation is X. Could you precisely show me where it states Y? This, remember, is where a policy beats ego. It masterfully moves the conversation from a volatile personal attack to an objective, irrefutable fact. 4. Witness mode activated. Get your phone camera discreetly ready, not to record immediately, but to be fully prepared should the situation demand it. Note the precise time and location mentally. If things unfortunately escalate, having the swift option to document is incredibly powerful. Remember, silence is evidence. Record, report. This isn't about aggressive confrontation, but about having verifiable truth firmly on your side. This meticulously crafted ritual isn't about morbidly predicting a negative outcome. It's profoundly about empowering you with crucial choice, with undeniable leverage, with less fear, more clarity, more dignity. It ensures you don't react impulsively out of panic, but instead respond thoughtfully from a deep place of competence and unwavering control. It's about truly understanding that allies in the room change outcomes, and sometimes your strongest, most unexpected ally is the factual record you meticulously create, or the policy you expertly cite, or the unique, unexpected skill you bring to the table. For Anya, her hidden linguistic talent became her ultimate game-changing ally, turning a moment of potential humiliation into one of profound, lasting respect, ultimately leading to a big deal, bigger dignity. 3 calm steps, 1 loud result. That's the undeniable power and elegance of this precise approach. It adeptly bypasses the emotional trap, thoroughly recenters you, and effectively arms you with irrefutable facts or undeniable, unassailable competence. It's a quiet, formidable strength, a truly courageous kind of courage that doesn't need to be aggressive to be profoundly effective. Now, a genuinely crucial word on absolute safety. Always, always respect your personal limits. Your physical safety is paramount. Above all else, do not, under any circumstances, engage in physical confrontation. Your primary goal is to document, to judiciously de-escalate, and to escalate through proper, established channels if necessary. Remember that laws and organizational policies vary significantly by place and context. Adapt your approach accordingly and wisely. If you ever feel you are in immediate danger, prioritize your safety above everything else. Disengage immediately and seek urgent help from authorities or trusted individuals. These powerful strategies are invaluable tools for leverage and dignity, never for personal risk. So, what's one single small action you can realistically take today? Maybe it's meticulously saving a screenshot of your company's anti-discrimination policy to your phone's favorites. Maybe it's consciously practicing a calm, neutral phrase in front of a mirror, refining your delivery. Or perhaps it's simply identifying one reliable person in your professional or personal network who you know would unquestionably be an ally, someone you could confidently call if you ever urgently needed a witness or steadfast support. Then dedicate a focused 10 minutes to performing that empowering justice prep ritual. Start small. Start today. And please, tell me in the comments below, what's one specific action you're going to take to prepare? And what's the next challenging scenario you want us to collectively tackle? Let's keep diligently building our shared, collective toolkit for dignity and justice, one calm, powerful step at a time.